So we're on our way to LA to interview Effie Brown.
Producer of Dear White People, Real Women Have Curves, a lot of great credits all around.
I was very vicious dog. Oh my God. I graduated when I was 21. So I graduated a little early. I remember that. I was just really trying to pull myself together at 20 and 21. And I had a little bit of a panic. I was in a bit of a panic when I was graduating. That panic that I had was because I knew that I was like, you are Black and a woman. And the only person who was doing anything at that time was Oprah, right? And she was just coming on the scene. Like, that's how long, you know what I mean? It was literally that. There weren't any role models for me to pattern myself after, to be a producer. So what I realized, I don't look like anybody else that's out there. We're not even in TV and film. Like, there's no Black Panther. There's no anything, right? You know what I mean? Like, we have like Driving Miss Daisy, maybe. And it was like Black men, like forget Black women, like, So I got into a bit of a panic and I called the Black Business Bureau. And literally I was like, I'm a senior in film school and I don't know what to do. And I don't know who this woman was, but God bless her to this day. She was like, oh, my cousin is working on the 5 Heartbeats with Robert Townsend. Like, let me call her and see if we could do something. Cold call. Black Business Bureau, senior year. And that's how I got an internship on the 5 Heartbeats. And what's interesting about the 5 Heartbeats is a woman named Laretha Jones, who was a producer of that, went to run Paramount, went to run BET, and now we're in the Academy together. And I was able to make those relationships. And it was just something random where I was like, I needed to go to a place where people that looked like me and maybe they could help me.
How did you decide what to do next? Because I don't know, there's not really a 9 to 5 to get to where you wanted to be. So
for me, I went it was a place called Film Independent. And that's how I transitioned from Loyola Marymount, and I went into a program called Project Involve. And I knew that, and it was at the beginning of Project Involve, it was for women and women of color. And it basically gave us a leg up, basically, right? It made introductions into the business. And that's where I met a woman named Lori Parker, who was my mentor, who actually then became my boss. And I'm actually doing a television series with her now, with Rain Phoenix and Lynn Ramsey.
Wow.
And this is, remember, this is back in the 90s, right? Yeah. So she taught me how to be a producer. She even got me my first passport. We went to Guatemala on a location scout. You know what I mean? She was that hippie, lovely lady who taught me, basically the thing that I go by now is that Effie, I believe that you'll make it. Because I was always incredibly ambitious. There's many things that you can call me, but me being laid back and in the cut is not one of them. I'm incredibly ambitious. And she saw that. She's like, I'll believe you'll make it. But as I'm helping you, you have to lean back and help somebody else and make their way up. Because the biggest lie that they tell us is that there's room for only one of us. And when you get to the top, and I know that you will, you're going to look to the left of you and to the right of you, and you're going to see that there was room for more of us. And that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the deal. That's the only way that we're ever going to change things. And that was my baby lesson that I didn't necessarily get from LMU. LMU, I got film theory, I got practical, but when I came out of school, I had to find another community that was able to embrace those things. Do you know what I mean? And to tell me how to be a human being in this business.
How do you empower women of color, others, and yourself?
There's a whole thing I feel of, maybe it's a better answer why than how. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think it's sort of my life's practice. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to sort of say, I do this and this and this. Why I do it is because I think that we need to be heard. And I think that the world can be saved through stories. I think that, it sounds super simple, but I really and honestly believe that we can solve the world problems through storytelling, because once you humanize each other in a story, it's harder for you to rape them, it's harder for you to murder them, it's harder for you to keep them in poverty. you start to see them, the others, as yourself, right? And that's where to me, this is like what, I'm sounding very like, but like to me, that's like all the problems, that are happening right now. It's all based off of fear. It's all based off I'm not going to have enough and you have too much, or like I'm going to take what you got. Like, especially now in this political climate that we are, like, this is what it is. So if everybody's like, everyone chill out, like no one's out to get you per se, but we are out to get ours, right? And let's do it together. There's going to be some adjustments for you, baby. There is, but this is what's about to, this is what's about to happen. And I think that, it's really important to me because, if the shoe were on the other foot, if all we heard were women's stories, like from the time we were born, like, and women were dominating, I think that I probably would be like, you know what? Women, we've had it. Like we have over-indexed. Let's see what the dudes are doing. What are they saying? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's all about that balance. And right now, we have been overly indexed in white male dominant culture. So that's why it's so important for me of like, wherever there is the other, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be like, what do you need? Like, I will amplify your voice, whether it being like doing an interview like this, whether it's speaking my truth that might not be popular, whether it's producing their movies or hooking up or growing a producer, because God knows we need people. And like, you don't, until somebody teaches you how to do it, you don't know how to do it. And if you guys really just sort of like have the courage of your conviction, like, are you don't need to be like, just like, why not? Why not me? You could rule this world. You really could. Like, that's the thing, you really, really could.
She was absolutely boss. Like, there's so many words to describe her, but boss. Her being so tailoring to marginalized communities and focusing her work on that, it just really inspired me.
We are going. What is that? I won a Spirit Award. I'm a big deal. I'm a big deal. Just so you know, in my head, I'm a very big deal.